Hey, Programming 11. I wanted to just talk about the window we opened up. I've got a fancier version of the window with these numbers and stuff moving around because we've opened up. This is a 600 by 600 window that I have opened. And I wanted to explain how you can describe the position of things in this screen. We're going to be using XY coordinates, and that's what you see. You see an X coordinate on the left-hand side and a Y coordinate on the right-hand side, just like in math. But these numbers don't quite seem to make sense if you don't understand how computers see the coordinate system. It's a little bit different than how you do it in math. So for example, in math, usually the center is the 0, 0 coordinate, right? So if you move around, you'll see like none of these numbers look like 0. In fact, if I get right at the center, you'll get, I can't quite, 300, 300. The center is not 0, 0 in computer graphics. And you might wonder, why is that? And what actually is going on? So let me explain the actual story of what's happening here. I'm going to flip over to this little diagram I have here. I'm going to open this in a new tab. I guess it didn't matter. But anyways, we'll zoom into that. So on the left here, this is how math does it. You already know how it works, right? Here's your y-axis, your x-axis. As things increase, you go up with the y-axis, and you go to the right with the x-axis. So that's how it worked, and that's what you learned. I got 8th grade. That's what you learned in 8th grade. But on a computer, check it out. It's not that way. The top left corner is actually the 0, 0 point, and you still have an x-axis which goes across, and essentially is the same, right? You go to the right. The more you go to the right, the larger the x coordinate gets. But the y-axis is upside down in a computer. It actually increases as you go down. For a normal math situation, as you go down, it gets into negative numbers. And that's actually the reason why all this is set up the way it is. They wanted to avoid using negative numbers, even though it is more intuitive to do it the way we learn in math. When they first invented all this computer graphic stuff, computers were very limited, and they didn't want to waste the bits of having a negative number describing some of the coordinates on the screen. It was less efficient. Nowadays, computers are so powerful it wouldn't even matter. You could easily have that. But this is a legacy decision that goes way, way back in early times in computing, and it's just stayed that way ever since. Every program, whether it's Windows or Minecraft or Pokemon Go or whatever, I don't know, League of Legends, you name it, like the screen coordinates are measured the way you see on the right here. So let's go back, and that might now make more sense if I go back to processing. I'm running the sketch here. So you can see that the center, it kind of makes sense that it's 300, 300, because it's halfway down and halfway across. So if it's 600 wide and 600 tall, then it makes sense that the midway point would be 300, 300. So here's a couple of questions, folks. What is going to be the coordinates of the different corners? You can kind of test yourself right now, your understanding, if you want to be really proactive about it. So what's the top left corner's coordinates? Think about that for a second. Top left, coordinates are, you said 0, 0. I can't quite get to the top left easily. Well, close enough. Top left is going to be 0, 0. Struggling, just can't get in there. 0, 0. Okay, that's the origin of computer graphics. So what if I went all the way over to the right? I'm still at the top corner, but now this time the top right corner. What are going to be the x and y coordinates of the top right corner? So let's go and see. I'm going to go across, and do you see what's increasing as I go across? It's the x coordinate, and occasionally the y coordinate because I don't have a steady hand. But here I go. I'm all the way to the side, and it's, can't quite get there, but it should be about 600 for x and 0 for y. I guess that's about as good as I can do because my mouse isn't perfect. Yeah, so y is 0 along the top. Anywhere you go, you can see it's like, I can't quite get it at 0, but it's pretty close to 0 along the top. Small numbers at the top. But x changes as you go across, and it gets all the way on the other side. My window's 600, so it gets to 600. Let's think now. If we now understand where we are in the top right-hand corner, what about the bottom right corner? What's the coordinates of the bottom right corner? So I just have to go straight down. So if you said 600, 600, you are on it. That's right. I go all the way down. You see I'm on this side. X isn't really changing, right? But Y sure is, and it's increasing as I go down. And eventually I get to the bottom, and I can't quite do it. Oh, so close. I'm gonna just, whoa! I'll never get better. I give up. Achievement unlocked. So that's the bottom right-hand corner. And it makes sense, right? You got all the way over and all the way down, so 600, 600. Last corner, bottom left, what's it gonna be? If you said 0, 600, you are absolutely correct. So I'm gonna go all the way back here. And see, I'm at the bottom, right? The bottom 600. So if I'm staying at the bottom, the y coordinate is gonna stay at around 600. And then, oh, it's back to 0 down here. Hey, there we go. Yeah, well, I guess I'll call it good enough. So 0, 600 is the coordinate for the bottom left-hand corner. So it is a little confusing. The first lesson, this is one of the most confusing things. There's some other confusing things, but this is definitely up there as one of the most confusing things when you first start with processing and computer graphics in general. But we're going to do some exercises that will help you practice with this. Everything you're going to be drawing on this screen is going to require you to put in an x and y coordinate, so you're going to get a ton of practice. And in some ways, you're going to just internalize this as you go. As you get towards the end of the course, you're not even going to think twice about this. It'll just be straightforward stuff you don't really think about eventually. Okay, so thank you very much for your hard work on that. Let's stop this video and we'll start drawing some shapes now. Okay, thanks everybody.